Hold on. What's going on? Stephen and Aaron, what's up? It's so great to see you guys. I have been secretly stalking you guys on Facebook, like I mentioned earlier. Totally appreciate who you guys are and all you're doing. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Okay, well, we're Stephen and Aaron Bernat. We've been married now for over 20 years.
Long time.
We have 4 kids, 2 girls and 2 boys. And like most homeschoolers, I guess we would say we've been homeschooling since the beginning. But our oldest daughter is a senior in Challenge 2 this year. So we're excited about that. And we're in our last year of Foundations and Essentials with Classical Conversations. And so starting next year, we'll have all Challenge students. And we're excited about that.
This will be my last year tutoring Essentials as well, since our youngest is out of Essentials.
And we own a small coffee roasting business called a Biculture Coffee Roasters. Our roaster is here behind us. We're in actually what we call our roasting shed right now because it's the quietest place we could find for an interview.
And the warmest.
So
that's awesome.
It's 75 in here, so we like it like that.
That's great. Okay, so a couple questions. How long have you guys had your coffee business?
We've had our coffee business, we established in 2018.
October of 2018. So a little over a year and a half.
Yep.
That's awesome. And then how long have you guys been homeschooling?
Well, officially, like with curriculum and stuff, well, since our oldest was like 3 years old, preschool age, and she's 18 now. So I guess about 15 years, something like that.
And how long have you guys been with CC?
This is our 5th year. We joined in fall of 2015.
How have you guys enjoyed homeschooling? You guys dig it?
Yeah, we love it. I mean, I was homeschooled myself through high school, but he wasn't.
Nope, I only had 1 semester that I was homeschooled.
Yeah, and that was just to catch up when you.
That was only because when we moved, we couldn't get into our public school, and so I had to wait until my junior year to go back into school. So, but knowing what I know now, I hated school when I was going to school, but knowing what I know now, I would have loved being in this style.
Yeah. Well, and we always knew we wanted to homeschool. I mean, that was a blessing for me because, having been homeschooled myself, I knew that that's what I wanted for my future children. And so when we got married, it was never even like a question or anything. He was totally on board with it. And so that's what we've been doing ever since. And then, once we had the opportunity to join CC, that really transformed our homeschool, I think.
That's great. What advice would you all give to maybe a family that's maybe in their 1st or 2nd year of homeschooling? What advice would you give to them? I
would say, first and foremost, give it to God, because none of us has the strength to do this on our own. Because He's called us to train up our children in the way they should go, but He doesn't command that and then just, okay, leave us on our own to do it. And so first and foremost, give it to God, because that's the only way to do it. His grace and His mercy are new every morning. And, our kids, when you're home with them every day, they see the worst in you and you see the worst in them. But at the same time, we're in it together, and it's just an amazing thing. I love being home with my kids. It's, I know this is something God called me to do, but I know I couldn't do it without Him. So
I would say be honest, don't be fake. Because again, like what Aaron was saying, they're going to see the worst in you, but they're going to see the best in you as well. So if you can be honest and say, I don't know, and be able to say, I'll look this up or I'll find out the information, that opens up more doors to be able to say, hey, we can have a discussion of A, B, and C all the way to X, Y, and Z. Because that's the thing, we aren't called to know it all. But if we can be honest with our children, I think they're going to understand where you are coming from. So.
Love it. Both you guys, excellent points.
We deal with things on a daily basis. And our oldest daughter, she's working, and she doesn't have a bad work environment, but she still has to know how to deal with conflict. even, being in challenge, there are, with a class of 9 students, 7 students, there will be that conflict. And they are getting to that age, especially now with the debate, that they learn how to debate properly, but be able to understand each side of the opinion or of the fact, or however you want to put it, and be able to I don't agree with this because, oh, I agree with this because, and then I didn't agree with this, but now I do because there's new information that I might not have before.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. How about to more experienced homeschool families? Any particular advice or encouragement you could share with experienced or veteran homeschool families that maybe you could remind them of something important along their homeschool journey?
Lots of coffee.
Lots of coffee. Yes, that's important. I mean, we believe in the power of coffee, obviously. I think go back to your why. Remember why you started homeschooling in the first place. God called you to it, and God gave you those children, and He picked you out, to be their parents, to be their teachers. And so, remember, go back to those reasons why you first decided, whether it was from the beginning, when they first were starting school or preschool or whatever, or if you pulled them out of a public school or private school situation. Go back to those memories of, okay, why did I do this? What did God lay on my heart in the beginning? And I think, because I have to do that too, so that I can be encouraged, on the days that are rough, and especially now with everything that's going on in the world, it's a good reminder of why we're doing what we're doing.
That's great. Stephen, I want to ask you maybe a little bit different question. How about, Stephen, what advice would you give to dads of homeschooling families?
So I have a saying that hangs in my roastery, and I'm actually looking at it right now, but it always sits here because when I'm roasting, when I'm bagging, whatever I'm doing, it's right in front. It's stay humble, have integrity, be the canvas, not the artist. And so I think that's the big thing, stay humble. I mean, you have to, like Aaron said, we're giving the opportunity with these children to be their parents. First and foremost, and I know this sounds weird, but we're not their friends. We are their parents. We can have a relationship with them, but we are the ones that are raising them. Be evident in their lives. Be that masculinity that they need to have. Be evident, but at the same time, in my opinion, don't have a heavy hand. There are times for that discipline, but there are those times that you need to let them experience decisions that they've made and have a discussion. Well, you saw why this happened. Can you now relate to this? So I think that's the biggest thing is stay humble and have integrity. Because if you don't have those two things, and if you're real with your children, they're going to see right through it.
That's great. Great, Skinny, both of you. How about this now? So this maybe is going to be a little bit different, Aaron, than your other response. So I want to, I guess, see your guys' thoughts on this. For all those families that, again, based on all the recent, schools shut down, that kind of thing for who knows how long, hey, I did not feel called to homeschool, but now I'm in the spot where I'm going to have to homeschool my kid for whatever period of time, whether it's weeks, maybe a month, maybe a couple months, whatever. What would you say to them that they're homeschooling now?
I would say one of the biggest things is find your community. And that doesn't necessarily have to mean classical conversations or something like that. Find a community of like-minded people, and for many right now, that might just be people that have been thrown into this situation with you. Other parents that, maybe didn't feel called to homeschooling, but they have to now. And but they can still rely on each other for encouragement, for accountability or whatever. And then, maybe some people are going to come out of this feeling like, oh, hey, maybe I can do this. Maybe this has been a good experience for them, and just seeing that they can, because so many people have this idea, well, that's great for you, homeschooling is great for you, but I could never do that. Well, maybe they will understand that, yeah, I can. And so I think finding that community of people that are there to support you, because I know when we joined Classical Conversations, we had been homeschooling for years, doing our own thing, And I didn't think we needed anybody else, but once we joined CC, oh man, I mean, they've become our family. We just love these people. And every year, new families join, and you just, you get to love on them and welcome them into the community and everything. And so, but we're all like-minded in how we're homeschooling. Even it might look a little different at home, but we could get to come together and just fellowship once a week or twice a week in our case, because we have 2 separate community days. But, so even, right now for us, I think any CC family will tell you this is difficult, where we're having to meet every week on Zoom now or something like that, but at least we're given the opportunity to still have that fellowship in a way, still get to see each other's faces. This morning we had foundations and all the families that were on the screen together, and we sang our director happy birthday, and it was just a really sweet time. And, but yeah, so even if it doesn't look like CC for their family, just a tribe of people that you can look to for encouragement and accountability, and just, oh, this is what I'm going through, even if it's just a shoulder to cry on. So that's what I would say.
That's awesome. Stephen, how about you?
Have patience.
Yep.
Seriously, I mean, because if you don't have that, then you ain't going nowhere. I mean, your schooling is going to look a lot different at home than it is in public school. And me being a product of public school, I hated it, like I said earlier. And I see on social media this thing going by saying, oh, you need to have structure and this is how it needs to be. At 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, you have to be up and dressed and ready to do this. And oh, you have a dog, that's from 10 to 1 or however you want to do it. And by 8 o'clock, you're in bed and everything is all structured out. Anyone that homeschools knows that is not true. It completely changes. You're like, oh, we are going to be doing something different today. We can't handle this and this and this. So be patient.
Yeah, patient. I think with yourself.
Yeah, you have to be flexible, because if you're flexible, you won't break.
Love it. Well, one of the things that I learned kind of early on in our transition from, because I'm a public school guy as well, and my awesome wife is a private Christian school background. And, one of my re-educations that I had to go through was realizing that our kids' homeschool was not going to be public school at home, right? So that all those parents don't have to think that they've got to recreate, okay, we got to ring a little bell after 45 minutes and walk down the hall and come back to the same room and learn math or whatever. Like, no, it's the canvas and what's best for you as the parents, what's best for the children. It's got to fit. That's the beautiful thing about homeschooling is it's customizable, and it doesn't have to look like public school. It can, right? Your homeschool, even though we use the same program, I guarantee you your schooling looks different than our schooling. And that's awesome, right? That's the beauty and blessing of homeschooling, is that it's customizable, but great perspective, great points there. Last question, any Bible verses or Bible passages that you guys kind of go to for strength, encouragement, when you're in maybe a homeschooling valley or life valley?
For me, I consider my life verses Philippians 4, 6, and 7. And right now it's very fitting, I think. Be anxious for nothing. Everything is prayer and supplication. Make your requests be made known to God, and peace of God that, that will guard your minds through Christ Jesus. That verse has brought me comfort and peace so many times in my life when there's been struggles and valleys. And I think, we all just need to hold on to that right now. We'll get through this. God's got it. He knew all this was coming, and, he'll take care of us. He sees the end, well, even when we don't.
My favorite book is Hebrews. So I'd have to go with Hebrews 6, 19 and 20. So I don't have it memorized, but it's basically Jesus being the anchor of my soul. If he's your anchor, then you ain't going anywhere, basically. I mean, and that's what I have to hold on to. Now for abide, our main verse from abide is John 15:9, which is abide in my love.
That's awesome. I was thinking that you dug the Hebrews one because of he brews.
Yeah. That works too.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for your time. God bless you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your experience.
Thank you so much.